Okay, Rachel, are you ready to go?
Yes.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
Phil, aren't you supposed to be running the show? Which guest have we got?
Don't make me the boss of stuff.
You're the boss of stuff.
Let's wing it.
And go.
Hi, welcome to the This Is My Voice podcast.
The podcast where we discuss all things voice performance and talk to some of the industry's best and brightest talent.
We're your hosts, Rachel Salas.
And Eddie Bye.
We have joining us today an Australian treasure, Neil Fanning, voice of Scooby-Doo. Welcome, Neil Fanning.
Well, I love Scooby snacks. Hi, guys. How are you? I've been unmasked and it's just me.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful. Welcome, mate. Welcome.
Great to speak to you.
Thank you for
so
joining us today.
I appreciate the time.
Neil, you've got a unique way how you fell into the world of voice acting. When did you think I was good at character voices and thought I wanted to do this?
Yeah, great question, Rachel. I guess it came from when I was very young, and I'd watch cartoons with my friends, my mates in Brisbane, where I grew up, and yeah, every afternoon, come home, watch the cartoons, as everyone did, and Scooby-Doo was obviously one of my favourites, and so I guess when the ads were on, we'd all jump up and recreate the scenes we'd just seen and do the voices and have some fun. And, I did that, and, I was a pretty outgoing young person and just had a good ear, I think, and was able to do a few voices straight up and made my friends laugh. And they were like, oh, that's really good. It's really close. And that made me feel good. So I just sort of progressed on from that, doing lots of acting as I grew up, and then that's a whole other story. But I mean, the genesis of it, I think Mum and Dad have said it was about like 7 or 8. You were watching cartoons.
So is that how early you have to start to be a great animation voice?
No, I don't think so. No. Obviously my voice broke, and then I had a whole other range of voices that I could do. Just imitating or mimicking a voice is one aspect of being a voice artist, but there's so much more to it. I became an actor first, and went to university and did a degree, which I didn't finish. I deferred because I was too young to play these characters. I had no for reference for older characters that I was only 18 then. Anyway, I don't think I'm going back. To become an actor, you that is very, very helpful in the voice world, because often you're asked to create voices that is a figment of someone's imagination, not even fully fleshed out yet, especially when you're going in and doing radio commercials, for instance. I
work with a lot of students, so I teach people that want to be voice artists, and I get everybody from all age groups. And I started similar to you. I was mucking around in my bedroom at probably about the same age. And I think even though, you said, your voice broke, and so the voices you could do changed and things like that, there's a learning that happens. It doesn't matter. Every time you utter a word in performance, you're better than before you uttered that word, I feel, right?
I think it's an advantage because, you pick up nuances with your tone and pitch and all these things that come with age, and with age comes wisdom, hopefully. And you're, as a young person too, I always people watched, and people that I came in contact with in my life who had these unusual voices or cadences that I found interesting, and I would file that and work on and use that potentially as another character later on. So in the corporate world, for instance, I have about 18 different characters that I do. So I'm an interactive comedy performer, MC at corporate events, internationally and in Australia, mostly in Australia, for 30 years. So I'm always looking to create a new character because, the trends come and go, and I find it interesting. And I'm a creative, so I want to create push myself to the limits because, the sweetest fruit is out on the limb. It's where you haven't been before. You need to don't go down the highway, make your own path and tread your own track. And that's where the gold often comes from, where you're discovering new things and coming up with voices. So I'll give you an example. Just to have that imagination, I guess. Okay, we'll go into a recording studio for a radio station, and how this works. You normally you're there for an hour. You book for an hour, and you'll do 6 or 10, generally, radio commercials, and you might just be doing the tag, you might just be doing one word, or you might be doing a whole read or several different characters within that commercial. You've got a producer and the recordist. You don't get any script beforehand. You go in cold. And so you have to create options, alternatives, alts for the producer to take to the client to see if that's their vision. That's what they were thinking. I try and get as much information about a character that I can, age, weight, height, previous experience, what are they doing, so I've got a bit of a backstory that I can create this character. And then, like, for example, Avocado Land, they want to do an ad for Avocado Land that they're opening, and Avo is going to be doing the voiceover. And, okay, great. And you've got a whole script, lots of detail to get through, and okay, I need to know what is Avo look like. I mean, I'm assuming he's rotund. What age is he? Australian? Is he French? Is he? So I need to gather all this information as an actor to create the vision that I think is matching up with the information that I'm given from the producer, from the marketing. The client to the producer to me. And so what I do is I'll give them what I think, an alternative of that, and they'll go, okay, great, that's good, but can we do this or that? So I normally go, right over to the other end, change the pace, the pitch, the age, completely different character. On the spot. You've got to come up with that on the spot. And then that's one alternative they're going to take to the client. They normally want 3 or 4. So I take it to the other way. Make him really old or something, give him a characteristic that is unique to the other 2 performances that I've given. So they have a choice to come up with that's the one. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing Avo to be. And that's the skill. That's the skill of being a voice artist. It's not just mimicking somebody. It's actually, like Tom Hanks says, turn up on time, know your lines, come with an idea. You've got to have a creative mind to be able to fully flesh out the directors, all the creatives on this show, their vision of this particular character in this particular scene. And that really comes with a bit of time, and so as young performers, I get this all the time at Comic-Cons. People come up to me, or as they should, and, do their voices to me. They're excited. And I go, yeah. I ask them if they're a bit shy or whatever. Nice to meet you, Joe. Do you do voices? And he goes, yeah, I love Scooby. I do a Shaggy. Oh, mate, give me a Shaggy. So he does his Shaggy and I do Scooby back to him. And I'm like, I'm trying to encourage people to do that. And I hear some amazing performances from the guests that I meet. And that's part of the joy that I get from going out and doing Comic-Cons and meeting people, because, Scooby means a lot to people. I get this all the time. It was my childhood. It was my safe space when I was getting bullied, or, if I was having a hard day, I'd just put Scooby on and make me feel better. So, this gift that I have, which is amazing, that I can just keep on going to Comic-Cons, and Supernova Sydney is happening this weekend. So please come along. I'm doing a panel on Sunday at 1 p.m. Where I play videos. I play all the behind the scenes of of different aspects of the movies. I'm also a stuntman, so I show a bit of the stunt driving I do. Try and make it, a show, and an interesting show to hold people, because I can talk, no dramas, but it's a bit boring just seeing me talk. And I get the same questions, to be honest, guys. A lot of the same questions. So if you think of a question I haven't had, please come and ask it on Sunday. But a lot of them are similar. One being, who's your favourite person that you worked on with Scooby-Doo 1 and 2? Oh, I say, well, every scene that I had with Matthew Lillard, because he's a dear friend of mine and amazing, and talk about Matt. But the highlight for me on Scooby 1 was working with Rowan Atkinson. I was a big fan of his from Blackadder and Not the 9 O'Clock News, early Monty Python. He's a legend. And so, he played Mondavarius on Scooby 1. And there was one day in particular at the studios on the Gold Coast where we shot it in 2001, where it was only him and I called on the call sheet. So I had a whole scene, and it's the scene in the office where Mondavarius, Rowan, asked me to be a sacrifice, and I say, "Sacrifice," that scene. Well, I can talk about it all day, but Jason, play the video of that scene, and then I talk about that. So when he's looking at the Scooby snacks and he's offering me the box, he's looking at me and I'm acting back to him. That's how it worked on set. In this particular time period where it was CGI, very early CGI, computer-generated image. So there's nothing there for the actors to act to. So that was why I was on set, to create the voice, to act the role. I'm acting the role. And then when I went back into the studio to record time and time again, the whole movie, several times, numerous times, in the Gold Coast, on the Gold Coast, and in LA at the Burbank Studios, at the Eastwood Studio. I mean, it's incredible. They actually video me. They film me doing the voice and build Scooby with my facial reactions. So I'm pretty expressive. I've got big eyebrows, and the computer guys had that in their bottom left-hand side of the screen, and they're hearing me and they're building Scooby to what I did. So that was very early, I guess, motion capture, in the fact that you're actually utilising the full performance of the voice artist, whereas it's different in animation. You're just providing the voice. Often you don't even meet the other cast members, perhaps, depending on the schedule and the recordings. And you're on your own a lot of the time. But I had the benefit and the joy of being on set with Matthew and Linda and Sarah and Freddie and all the cast and crew for 5.5 months. We're all going every day, into set and creating these incredible movies that stand up today. They're so timeless, and when I see these all the guests at Comic-Cons, it's 3 generations. It's amazing that it's going on and on and on, and it's been around for over 50 years. I mean, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Came out in 1969 with the legendary Don Messick creating Scooby's voice. And I guess I was seeing those early cartoons, so I was basing my voice on his. However, I don't do the cartoons at this point. That's Frank Welker, the original Fred voice in the cartoons back then. Yep. Oh, he's a voice legend. Frank Welker, up there with Mel Blanc. I mean, his resume is incredible. I've never met Frank. I'd love to, but he's currently doing Scooby's voice in the cartoons, and he has been for quite some time. Fit and healthy, great. He's 80, late 70s. But if he retires, I mean, I'd really love to take over, doing the cartoons. But my voice is because it's live action, it's not cartoony, so it has a different tone to the cartoon Scooby. I can do the cartoon Scooby, but that's not the live action Scoob, because my interpretation was more grounded, gravelly, real, as opposed to being a bit higher and cartoony, So, yeah, I think I've answered a lot of questions there.
Yeah, well, thank you, Neil. That's all we've got time for.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, mate, brilliant. And you have answered a huge number of questions.
Yes.
Rach, I think there's a couple still to go, though, isn't there?
yeah.
But I can expand on things.
That
of
would be
course. I mean,
great.
this is the thing. Like I do panel Q&As, and they have to stop me because I can talk because I've got lots of stories, and that's not even talking about stunts or the other 55 movies and TV shows I've worked on. So, yeah, I love what I do. I'm passionate about it, and I love my film family, and now I love my Comic-Con family because I've just started doing these in the last 2.5 years. Because it's not that I didn't want to do them. I was just really busy raising a family and working on set and as a stunty, actor, voice artist, recording, doing corporate events and safety. So I'm a person that has a lot of spinning plates, and I just couldn't fit Comic-Con into that. But I love doing it now. And that's Comic-Cons are where I want to go. It's much I just got married recently. So, yeah, thank you. I'm trying not to be away from my beautiful wife for any longer than I have to. So I'm in Sydney actually working on season 2 of Return to Paradise for the ABC TV, BBC Studios Australia production. And I'm safety supervisor on this show, and I'm passionate about safety, and I try and do everything, to the highest level I can. And that's been a lot of what I've done recently is safety supervising on set and being the head of workplace health and safety department. Because it's a sort of a transition from stunts to safety, because I've had this stunt safety background for a long time. I've also worked out of the industry in safety, so it's something I'm really passionate about, and I really enjoy it. I bounce out of bed. I love coming to work. It's coming to set. We're at the studios right now, in fact, in Sydney. Last 3 days of this of shooting. We wrap on Thursday, and on season 2. And exciting news, we just learnt yesterday that season 1 that I worked on as well, and a lot of the cast and crew, obviously the cast did, but a lot of the crew also worked on, has just been nominated for 4 Logie.
Oh,
Silver
congratulations.
Logie Awards.
Ah, brilliant.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
So amazing. So I made a big announcement in my safety briefing this morning saying congratulations to everybody who worked on season 1. We're all nominated for a Silver Logie Best Drama, and our 3 lead actors also have been nominated in their categories for Best Lead Actors in our drama. So couldn't be more proud and happy for the crew, for the cast. It's a different world in show business because, well, from my colleagues, all the people I've worked with and for over 35 years, we celebrate each other's success because it's so difficult, this industry, to get A, to break into, B, to stay in and have a long career is very difficult. And I'm mentoring quite a few people at the moment. I have for many years, actors, crew, young crew, and just giving them some tips and pointers, do's and don'ts about how to accelerate their career into the industry, and then hopefully follow their career and help them where I can to connect them with people. But the big thing I say in this say this in my panel, anyone want to be an actor, performer of any description? Yep, couple of people. Yep, okay. What do you want to be, mate? Oh, I want to be an actor. Oh, great. Okay. So my advice to you is wear a lot of hats. Get skills. If you're just going to be an actor, you're probably going to wait some tables because there's only a limited amount of work for everybody who wants to be a full-time actor. It's not impossible. Dreams come true. Look at me. I mean, I just kept going. Activity brings results. All those sorts of words. Just try and encourage people to get skills. If you're an actor, you should have a wide variety of skills. Voices is a big one. Accents, especially a good American accent, a solid American accent is critical because a lot of US productions have been and be filmed here, are filmed here. And so that's what I started doing, in fact. I was a voice artist for about 6 years before I got the voice of Scooby-Doo, because fortunately they shot the first movie on the Gold Coast in my hometown, where I was working at Warner Brothers Movie World in the Police Academy stunt show, and I was a voice artist in 4 TV shows and movies, and we were doing a movie at the time called Queen of the Damned, doing loop group and background voices and revoicing Australian local actors or anybody who they felt their accent wasn't strong enough or wasn't selling or wasn't right. We'd revoice them live in the studio and do all that. So that's where I heard about the opportunity of getting on set and potentially performing as the voice of Scooby-Doo, acting the role, which was a whole big audition process, which I'll go into if you ask me about it. But I think get skills, and voice is a big skill to have as an actor. When I'm creating a character, I always start with the voice because that's my grounding.
So you actually won the role of Scooby by doing a voice-off with the cartoon actor. Was Scott a good sport about that?
I've never met Scott. I don't know him. He's in America. This is the story I got from the producers. They asked him very early on. Actually, before that, I'll give you a bit of history. They wanted Robin Williams to voice Scooby. Yeah. But because they didn't have the names at the time, they didn't have Sarah, they didn't have Rowan, and you need a big name to draw, at least 2 or 3. So they were talking about Robin Williams, but they felt like it would be a bit of a waste of his talent just to have him voice Scooby because he was never seen. And then they got Sarah signed and Rowan, so they sort of moved away from that idea. And they approached the current voice at the time, and that was Scott Innes. And they said, look, we're going down to Australia to film a live-action movie for 5.5 months. Do you want to come down and perform the character live on set to the actors? Because there's nothing there. It's going to really help them. And for whatever reason, I don't know, still to this day, I don't know, he said, no, I'll just do the final cut. Oh, okay, no worries. Well, I'm sure we'll find a local that will be able to do the job. That's where I come in. And there's a whole audition process, which is a great story as well, which I'll tell you if we've got time. And so I end up, yes, okay, you're the guy we're going to have on set performing with the cast every day. So I go into rehearsals and, it's all going really well. I got called into Richard Suckle's office, who's the producer, who ended up doing really well too, because it was Atlas Entertainment was the production company. And, of course, he ended up being CEO of Atlas Entertainment. So Richard's a great friend of mine still, and we catch up. I've just been emailing him recently regarding this Scooby-Doo TV series for Netflix live action. I'll go into that later. Anyway, he calls me into his office. Oh, what's going on here? What have I done wrong? Anyway, I sit down there and he goes, oh, look, we're really happy with what you're doing. Everything's going great. Your voice, obviously, I'm being recorded for guide track for the rushes, for the dailies. So whatever, for people not in the industry, for whatever they shoot that day is called the dailies or rushes. And they go back to the production company, Warner Brothers in the States at Burbank, and all the executives sit around and they watch what we've shot that day and they make notes and go from there. So my voice is all over the dailies. It's Matt's talking to me and nothing there, but my voice is coming back. And they're going, oh, my God, who's this Australian? He's amazing. So they're really happy. Everyone's going great. And Richard goes, yeah, everyone's stoked. We've got the Scrappy-Doo scenes coming up. Do you perform Scrappy-Doo? I go, yeah, of course. Yep, no worries. So I give him a bit of Scrappy, and that's put him up, I'll rock him, and I'll suck him. Happy power. Roll, Rappy, roll. That guy ends up being the bad guy in Scooby-Doo 1. Spoiler alert. Too soon. 22 years. Anyway, so he goes, oh, great. Okay, well, no worries. We'll renegotiate your contract and we'll contact your agent and you can do it. While we get someone else, we've already got you here. Awesome. And I said, at that moment, that was a door opening. And in life, you don't get door openings like that very often. So I threw the dice. I had nothing to lose, and I said, Richard, just want to put something to you. I don't want any more money for this, for doing another character and all that. All I'd like is the opportunity to be considered for the final voice. And he went, you knew what I was doing. I mean, why not? I've got nothing to lose. So he goes, yeah, great. Okay, all right. I've never had anyone knock back money before, but he knew what I was doing. Throw a hat in the ring. Anyway, so I get on set and do Scrappy. I do Scrappy into Scrappy Rex. there was some ghosts that needed. There was some good. So I did all the voices on the show, every voice on the show, both movies, while we were filming, and came to the end, and they went, oh, look, you've been fantastic. And I was great friends with the cast, and they were all sort of backing me. And he said, we've got a bit of a quandary because, we did, talk to Scott before, you. So we're going to fly him out from LA, and you can do your version of the film completely with writer, producer, director. I mean, Raja Gosnell, Richard Suckle, James Gunn, all in there with me for 2 days, and put down the whole movie again. And then he came in the weekend after, same writer, producer, director in with him, and they put them in the can and went, right, okay, we've wrapped, we'll call you. And I waited for about 4.5 months. No, it wasn't that long, and it felt like it. And I remember I was camping on South Stradbroke Island with my family, my little kids at that time, and my Nokia 6410 phone rang, back before it was digital, of course. And I went, oh, Belinda, it's my agent. Any news? And she goes, guess what? They've gone with you. So life changer. That's what I said. Bloody ripper. And then the ride began because, I started doing some press, and anyway, went to the premieres, and we, had a huge blockbuster, $56 million opening weekend, which at the time was a Warner Brothers record for box office for June, in that month of June. It was huge. And on the back of that, before I left to come home, Richard said, mate, we've done it. Even on the preliminary figures, we're going to, Scooby-Doo 2 is being greenlit with an option for 3. So I was like, amazing. Holy moly. It was super exciting. And, from a little Gold Coast actor, you just got to try and do your best every day, put in 110%, look, I'm high energy anyway. And I gave it everything every day, and all the cast really appreciated what I brought to the show, brought to the character. Raja was actually, the director was open to me making suggestions. So very early on, I said in one scene, we're blocking it, and I said, oh, Raj, I think Scooby would do this here and that there. It's not written, but I just feel he would in this scenario, in this scene. And he went, okay, look, we'll shoot the original, and then we'll shoot your idea, and we'll go from there. And most of the ideas I gave are in the film, which is both of them. Yeah, and so Raja Raj and Matt and everybody, trusted that I knew the character in every way as an actor, and. Yes, I'm playing a dog, but I'm also playing, he's human in a dog's guise. It's quite complex, what I had to sort of come around with because, in the cartoons, they didn't discover a lot of the emotions, and he wasn't placed in these scenarios. It was, the cartoons are very formulaic in their 23 minutes of cartoon. You knew at a certain point that, okay, must be 7 minutes in, they're in this haunted house and there's some drama. Oh, it's 12 minutes in, they're going to split up and look for clues. all that stuff, and the montage where they come in and out of the doors and run around. You know, it was a very comfortable space for kids to watch something, because it was very similar but different, obviously, with the mysteries that they were solving. But in the movies, you've got, you know, an hour and a half to discover characters, and in number one, you know, James Gunn wrote this amazing script where the gang split up, and then we got to focus on their individual journeys about what they do outside of the gang, to explore those characters a bit more. And that's discombobulating for Scooby, of course, because, like, what's going on? I don't understand. You know, it goes into the childlike thing of abandonment and things. So, you know, there's a lot going on for me. And a lot of the times, and Matt talks about this as well, Matt Lillard, you know, he says, you know, what do you think Scooby-Doo here? And everyone would look at me and I'd go, well, I think he'd do this, this and this. But he wouldn't do that. And they'd go, okay, well, let's do that. So I was given real autonomy a bit to, you know, filmmaking is a collaborative experience, you know. I mean, and when you've got people like James Gunn, you know, he was on set every day. This was his big gig too, and he reflects on it very, very fondly as his breakout turning point show, put him on the map. And, you know, he's done pretty well too. Oh, my gosh. I mean, he's just finished this amazing Superman movie, which is a big promo at Supernova this weekend. So come along, everybody, in your Superman outfits, costumes, because they're having a huge Superman cosplay competition, and I'm doing a special thing, and this is an exclusive for your podcast right now. If you come to my table dressed in any Superman outfit, you get a selfie with me. No, I'm doing them because I want to do them, and you can do them on your phone, and you can have that because, you know, I want to support James and his great new movie coming out. And I'm going to do some things on my panel. So please come to my panel. I've got some surprises coming up and some great prizes from my collection that I'm going to give away to some very lucky punter. So, you know, look. Rachel, it's all about giving back, you know. What I get from the fans, the love, the adoration, you know, they bring me gifts. It's very, very humbling. And I just want to give back to people because, you know, this character, this franchise, the movie, you know, it means a lot to people. And I'm their Scooby. So I feel a big responsibility to make sure that everyone who comes and sees me, I want them to walk away going, oh, that was so good. I was so pleased to meet him, and he did the voice, and we got a photo, and he gave me this, or, you know, gave me some advice and talked to me, and I want to give them the time and have them go away with Scooby elevated in their minds, the character, because it's always going to be here.
Oh, Neil, no, but just an incredible story. And, I mean, your audition story is just absolutely inspirational, to be honest. Yeah. And even for me, right, you know, I'm a hack compared to you, obviously. But, like, you know, that the ripe fruit is out on a limb. Like, I'm going to remember that.
In the spirit of voice-offs, let's do a little game. We're going to name a category, like, say, like Disney or like an animal or something like that, though, and you have to do an impersonation or a voice for that category. So the aim of the game is to do the best impression, and the best impression wins. So it seems easy enough, right? Let's start with Disney.
Oh, I just do one?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, Pluto, come over here. Oh. Very bad Mickey Mouse.
That was brilliant.
I had to say it, Mickey Mouse. No. Anyway.
Hi,
Mickey. It's the right pitch. hey, Minnie, come over here. I've got some flowers for you.
Oh, Mickey. I've got an animal next.
Not a dog.
I'll do Foghorn Leghorn.
Great.
Yes.
Boy, I say boy. Boy's as sharp as a bowling ball.
Oh, that's such a blast from the past too. That's so brilliant. That's lovely.
I'm going to do Itchy and Scratchy.
Oh, Mitchie. Oh, I'm Scratchy.
So an Aussie cartoon.
Aussie cartoon.
Aussie cartoon. Oh my gosh. Look, I honestly. Oh, okay. Well, it's not an Aussie. It's the character I did in a UK cartoon, which was Holy Moly. I don't really know any Aussie cartoons. It's so embarrassing because I don't. My kids. I've just become a grandfather, so not really doing Bluey yet either. But I mean, I'll do this Aussie character that I did in Holy Moly. Was called Hurly Burly, right? And Hurly Burly is this big bloke. He's from the bush. And he talks like that, and he's quite emotional at times, and he actually cried because it was an emotional thing.
He sounds a bit like Alf Stewart from Home and Away.
There's a bit of Alf in there.
Yeah.
It's a bit Alf, but we're all galahs, aren't we?
Yeah.
Flaming Galah.
Flaming Galah.
Flaming galahs.
Yeah.
Okay, you got one more?
I've got one for like Aussie cartoons. So in the cartoon Koala Man, though, there was a bunch of kids that were scrambling over lolly bags at you know how they've got the Easter show and things like that, and they're like, lollies and stickers and toys. Woo! I got $6 worth of stuff in a $20 show bag. I am so happy.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
brilliant.
That's fantastic.
She's all right.
nice.
She knows what she's doing.
Sure.
I got one more.
no.
I got one more. What do you got?
A cheesy advertisement, because you've done advertising a lot.
Okay, so it depends what the demographic is that you're aiming at. Okay, so for McDonald's, for instance, they just do the normal hamburger thing, but if it's something aimed at teenagers, you need to pitch it up because that's not my voice. So it would be come into McDonald's and get your McFlurry right now. We've got a special on, and if you someone in my ear. And if you buy one, you get one free. Come on down. All that. It's that different tone. Sunnyside Retirement Village. Come to where the living is easy. This is, you got to make it. Okay, can I do one for you that I really like doing? So I watched a lot of Looney Tunes, okay? So I do Yosemite Sam. Ooh, I hate that darn rabbit. And then Marvin the Martian's a good one. You Earthlings are making me very angry. So, got a whole range of different stuff you can do, and it's fun. And the bonus is, guys, that if you want to be a voice artist, you've all got a recording studio in your pocket, okay? So my advice is get that recorder out and record all the voices you do and keep listening back to it and improving, and that's going to accelerate your fun and your learning of voices and could lead to an amazing career.
What a great endorsement. So that's awesome. Well, I think even without doing my last 90s voice, you've pretty much nuked me. It's
No, he has, because he knows what he's doing.
He's got this, yeah. So, yeah.
Look, I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate. I know a lot of my colleagues and friends in the game who are so much more talented than me. But look, it's the opportunity. Life, this business is about timing. It's a lot of luck. But you've got to back that up with a bit of talent, of course. But yes, I'm very, very blessed, and the whole thing's been an amazing ride. And I hope to get back behind the mic for Scooby-Doo TV series for Netflix. I'm in talks with them at the moment. They're going to be casting soon. I really want to I know they're going to have a conversation with me, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, because show business is a bit of a fickle thing. Nothing's guaranteed until they're calling action at you. But yeah, hopeful, but very, very. But come along to Supernova Sydney this weekend, folks. Can't wait to be there, meet everybody, and panel 1 o'clock on Sunday. And I'm just going to do a tag out for you.
Yeah, that would be amazing. We were going to ask you that.
Yeah, no worries. This is my voice. Well, hello, meet Scooby-Doo here. Man, I've just had a fantastic time having a podcast interview with... Sorry, they were just talking to me. I'll do it again. Rachel and...
Eddie.
Okay, this is my voice. Well, it's Scooby-Doo here. Man, I've just had a fantastic time being interviewed on This Is My Voice by the beautiful Rachel and the inspirational Eddie. Scooby-Doo-Doo.
Oh, that's so good.
Brilliant.
One last thing before we say goodbye. Another little fun thing we do for all our guests is to end this podcast. The final challenge is, the whole inner world shtick. Like inner world, one man.
Inner world.
Yeah. So for a trailer narration. So we challenge every guest to do a trailer narration for this interview, and it can be in a funny voice. It could be Scooby, or it could be anything you want. We're giving you free range here. And you kind of did that a little bit with the promo anyway.
In all honesty, I reckon actually Neil's done it.
Yeah.
I think he's actually done it. Because we would normally get... Okay.
I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Got ideas racing through my mind.
Okay.
It was summer, and in a world where Neil Fanning, the voice of Scooby-Doo, was sitting in his Mr. Machine van talking to amazing people on a podcast. The darkness fell, and there were screams and chains everywhere. There was danger and mysteries to solve. We talked for what seemed like hours, but it was only 47 minutes. And then they challenged him with all sorts of games and laughter. But in the end, it was amazing, and he will never forget this experience. In cinemas now. Please see Supernova this weekend. Thank you.
Amazing.
Neil Fanning, that is absolutely
Legend.
brilliant. What an inspirational and amazing chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to This Is My Voice, the podcast about all things voice performance with the world's best voice artists. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a review and don't forget to subscribe. This episode has been brought to you by the Australian Radio School and delivered to your ears by the Ozcast Network.